fact is, in too many parts of this country, a deep distrust exists between law enforcement and communities of color. Some of this is the result of the legacy of racial discrimination in this country. And this is tragic because nobody needs good policing more than poor communities with higher crime rates.
President Obama believes racism remains deeply rooted in the American psyche, yet just might be the focal point of why this issue remains unresolved. Add to that a self-serving race baiter, and the ingredients are there for a crisis demanding better leadership. He's a contributor for Newsmax, former chairman of the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and a noted political commentator. Clarence McKee is right here on Midpoint. Always a pleasure to see you.
How are you, my friend?
It is always excellent to see you. I'm good, thanks again. The president uses the phrase deeply rooted in the American psyche for racism. Is he right?
Racism has always been in the country and in the world and always will be. The point is, how do we get rid of it and how do we alleviate it? 1954, 50 years ago, so yes. Segregation. 50 years ago, we had lynchings, beatings, civil rights bill. 50 years later, you got a black president of the United States, about 45 black congressmen, first black senator in the Senate since Reconstruction, Republican from the Deep South, black president of the United States, black attorney general, black head of Homeland Security. So to that point, racism and those issues have gone away. The point is, where's the president been for 6 years? Now, he had a Democratic Congress his first 2 years. Did he put in a massive bill to redo the criminal justice system, to take care of some of the laws that deal with unequal sentencing? Did not do that.
Why did he wait? Because he didn't care, or because he had other things on his mind, like creating the Obamacare legacy?
Well, as you remember, he was president of all America. Over and over again, we were told. I'm not president of black America. The only time race was a concern of Mr. Obama was when Mr. Holder and his supporters used race in a race-baiting way whenever you criticized him. If you criticized Obama, you were a racist. If you criticized him and you were black, you were an Uncle Tom. He never really addressed it. Now, he only got into race when it was brought up to him. Trayvon Martin, Cambridge, the Cambridge situation, and now in New York. He always reacts to it. Now, I've recommended in my columns with Newsmax, he should have had a White House summit a long time ago. He brought in Africans, leaders from around the world. Why didn't he have a summit of black Americans, teenagers, law enforcement, civil rights leaders years ago to discuss this issue? As he led off today in your soundbite, he could have done that the first year in office.
Then let's answer that then. Why didn't he do it?
Because he was president of all America, not just black America, which he said. He avoided race just like
until it's convenient and expedient for him?
Well, Reverend Jeremiah Wright, of course the new Jeremiah Wright is Reverend Sharpton, but Jeremiah Wright, he threw him under the bus the minute it looked like race was going to be an issue in that campaign. Remember that?
Yes,
Got rid of him. Touchy. Alienate white votes. Now, after pulling the wool, I should say pulling the biracial or post-racial wool over the eyes of most white Americans, he doesn't need them anymore. He's not going to be standing for voters anymore, so he can get into race. But when he gets into it, it's very unbalanced. It's all the cops, the cops, the cops. The cops, there's some problems, as any black person would know, but it's not all the police. Law enforcement is not the reason that we have so many problems in the black community. I don't know if the law enforcement chief of police or a cop on the beat responsible for 70% black illegitimacy, or why these young kids don't respect authority of their parents or the teachers.
Well, let's stop right there because this is a point that you're bringing up. Because is it not fair to say that when you find people, such as former Mayor Rudy Giuliani, who basically intimated that the responsibility is on the black community, was he right? And if the responsibility is there, why has it not been taken up?
Because it's not politically correct to criticize black conduct. It's not politically correct to talk about 70, unless you're Dr. King, Alveda King, you can't talk about 70% black illegitimacy, or all of these single parent homes, men with kids with no male authorities. They don't want to talk about that.
Well, they say that's the fault of white America, though.
No, well,
it's white privilege.
As I used to say during the Reagan years, Ronald Reagan didn't get all these black women pregnant. You know, somebody else is doing it. So attack the problems. This thuggishness that goes on. Pants down below your knees. The stepfather of Mr. Brown, when he jumped up saying, burn this bee down, pants down below his butt.
And he apparently also said, I'm going to start a riot.
Now, horrible images. We should criticize those images and stand up for, as the police chief or the sheriff of Milwaukee said, don't throw cops under the bus. Now, you do have bad instances with cops. For example, a white father might tell his son, hey, listen, don't disrespect cops. Do what they say. If you don't do it, you're going to get arrested.
Well, that's what Mayor de
With blacks,
Blasio in New
you're
York
gonna
City
get-
basically said.
No, he said
That his son, he was afraid to tell his son. As a matter of fact, I have it right here. If a police officer stops you, do everything he tells you to do. Don't move suddenly. Don't reach for your cell phone. He told his son
Said-
Dante this. Isn't that good advice, whether you're white, black, blue, green, male, female,
exactly.
or either
It's
way?
good advice. The difference is that if you're white, you know, disobey, you might get arrested. If you're black and a kid, you might get killed. And those are some realities. And so why do cops fear blacks? The same reason many blacks are afraid when they see black kids coming up behind them. We've got to be as critical against thug conduct and criminality in our own community as we are to jump against whites.
How do we deal with this? So how do white people deal with this and take this on and be part of this discussion without being called racist?
Well, the first thing is, I think white people have a big role to play on their own. Every workplace in America, if the average white person said, looked around their workplace and said, gee whiz, everybody here looks like me. And I look at some of these demonstrators, you know, Wall Street folks, Occupy Wall Street, breaking windows. I don't think that they worry about in their jobs, we ought to hire more blacks here. Only when it's politically correct for them to do so. So whites have to look in their own shops and say, are we doing everything we can? And don't be defensive. I mean, if it's wrong to hold up a liquor store, it's wrong. If you don't throw bricks through windows. And what about the black business owners and non-white business owners in Ferguson who lost all their life savings? Do you hear Sharpton or Holder or the president saying, well, let's raise money to get them money so they can rebuild? No, they're gone. That's the problem. They throw the bricks and leave.
20 seconds. Is Al Sharpton then the race czar right now as far as the president is concerned, and one of the most dangerous human beings now in America when it comes to dealing with race?
I think he is the race czar. He's been anointed by the president. Tell me about black folks. He's got a great hairdo. He has a TV show. And so what he says is the gospel, which is a bad mistake.
Well, I'm going to stop you there because I don't think he's got a great hairdo, unfortunately, but that's okay too. Clarence,
Yours is better.
It's always a pleasure. Thank you very much, and it's real too. That's the most important thing about it. Thanks, Clarence. Always a
Thank
pleasure
you.
to see. All right, short time out, and we return with why one movie that hasn't even been released yet is turning American businesses inside out, and telling it like it is later on. It's all coming up right here on Midpoint.